Sarah, can you hear me? We can't hear you, Sarah.
Is that better?
Yes.
Oh, right. So thank you for telling me. So that's helpful instead of carrying on for 20 minutes. So once you join, you come into the Ninja Forex Traders. So on the left is a unit section. So please, please, please start there. It is put together for a reason to help you accelerate your journey. And there is a member orientation video, which is the first thing, very simple, very well organized with a little simple agenda. And it just takes you through the pathway of how to find your way through the group, because we know when you join, it's like learning a foreign language, and it's a little bit disorientating with all these words like pips and trend lines and scanners and things like that, but you soon pick it up. And then we come into our, I haven't got it open at the moment, you'll come into our im.center, which is your main hub here. And in this, you'll find how to access all your tools and strategies. I'll just show you where this is, and then we'll hand over to Tony, who's going to go through easy pips for us. And here on the left in your im.center, you've got academies, which is where you'll find all the learning. I won't go into that today, but please work your way through the series 100 and series 200 as required. A lot of them are only 5 minutes long. You can do it over a period of time. You don't have to digest it all in one weekend. Pip Talk is where you'll find all conversations from the live educators on the Go Live TV. And here's the Go Live TV, over 80 educators calling out trade ideas for us. And there's something for every time zone. It covers absolutely everything, as indeed do we with our 7 to 8 hours a day now around the clock. And then strategies is where you'll find the products. So once you come into strategies, and I'll just show you this, you can see here is Vibrata that we use a lot, and then the Harmonic Scanner, which is included in the basic platinum package. That's the one that I use. So that's everything I'm going to go through at the moment. And then we have the Harmonic Scanner. And once Tony's done his bit, I'm going to hand over to Tony. Then we can come on to some of the things I've been marking up this morning. So I need to, here we are, new share, manage participants. I wonder if I can make you a co-host more. Make host, make co-host.
Make co-host, make haste.
Make haste for the co-host. That's quite right. There we are, Tony. Over to you then.
I'm over here. Oh, okay. I assume I'm there.
Your co-host. So do I stop share then for you, I think?
I don't view options. I view options. So
well, I've stopped share, so you should be able to share now.
Okay, right. Good.
Yep, got it.
Manage participants. No, I don't need that. Share screen.
That's it.
Ah, there we go.
And when you stop sharing, don't cut me off. I have to start
would I dare do that?
I'm not good
cut
at that.
You off?
Well, I know you don't do it intentionally.
I know. Right, we're on now. I take it to let me know when you see my screen.
Yep.
Brilliant. This is working off the old vibrato, not the new one. The new vibrato hasn't got a ching ching sound on it yet, and you can't freeze it. And it only has about 3 or 4 trades on it at a time, where this has a lot more on it, and it's a different layout. And I think they're still working on the new one as we speak.
Tony, how do you access the old vibrator, the old one?
That's difficult. What I will have to do is get the into
Discord
chat line, or I'll put it in later. I think that's the best thing to do.
Just for new people, if they don't know how.
Yeah.
They can see the URL at the
All right.
top.
As you can see by now, one's already come in as we're talking. I basically use the cloud. I've modified it to suit myself because it can be complicated if you have everything on it. There's lots of lines and circles and things like that. I just tried to make it a little bit easier. Basically, what we've got here is a GU that's just come in, as you can see, 00. It works off algorithms and AI, which is artificial intelligence. I basically click on the pair, and then I'll check to see whether it's above the river or below the river. I call it the river, they call it the cloud, but I just thought it's easier. So it's below, it's red is showing a cell. So I would probably get into that. What I use is, for anybody that's doing it for the first time, I would use a demo account until you've done a fair few trades and you feel comfortable with it, and a very, very small lot size. If you are happy with it and you're happy with the way it works, then start using it on a real account, but use a micro lot account and see how it goes from there. And then as you get more confident, obviously increase your lot size, but not massively. Increase it very small increments at a time until you get comfortable with it. So what I will do, that is, these are all trade ideas, by the way. It's completely up to you, up to the individual, whether they enter it or not. But what I'm going to do is GU, if you don't mind. I will be entering that myself because that looks quite a good one.
So how many?
Bear with me a second.
How many pips do you go for?
Right. Ooh. That's that. Get this out of the way. This is where there's a, if you want to carry on talking, Sarah, because this is where there's a bit of a lag. And
Yeah.
everything, what's going on?
Yes. Can you hear me, Tony?
Right.
Oh, the sound's gone
5G,
again. We tested it last night and we could hear each other.
There we go.
Can someone else tell
Right,
Tony
that
that
is a
I
cell.
can't, he can't hear me? Because,
Yeah, Tony, Sarah can't hear you, buddy.
Thank you,
Myself,
Tom.
So
Oh,
yeah,
didn't seem
that's
to
been
hear that
accepted.
either.
It's already gone into
Tony, can you hear us?
profit.
I don't think Tony
Get
can
the
hear us.
pip count
Oh,
on it.
I'll have to
Sorry
put
about
it
the
in
sound
chat.
Earth
on
to
it.
Tony.
Difficult to explain and do it at the same time.
He's
Apply.
busy
Done.
paddling
There we
down
go.
his river.
Right, that's, you've
Um,
seen me in action. That's as quickly as it is. I've done it within the 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And let's see what happens. Yeah, it's fairly accurate. I have done many, many trades with it and they've all come in. On the odd occasions, it does wander off and it goes, there's quite a big drawdown, but I'm used to it now. And I just wait for it to come back and let it settle. So that's
Well,
all
I-
is
Can you-
really on that one.
I would
If
ask
there's any
Tony.
questions at all, what I will do is I'll put the link in Discord for it because it is the old one and not many people have got the old platform. They've got the new platform. So I can
I would ask
understand that.
Tony
So
how
I'll
many
do, should I do that
pips
now,
they go
Sarah,
for.
or
Yes, but you can't hear me.
can you hear me?
No.
I can't hear you.
Yeah. No, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me, Tony?
Can you hear us now? He can't hear any of us. This is how I know it's not me. We tested it last night and he got it working on his speakers, but I said he needs to buy new headphones, but he's not convinced. He's realised.
Did anyone see what Tony actually did so we can copy it?
Sarah, if you can hear me.
I
No idea what he did.
Yeah, me too.
I assume he was putting a trade on.
yeah, he was putting a trade on. Yeah, he's
I've done a bit of copy on the top there. So I think.
and he's in a cell. He's in a cell there on GBP USD. He's just put that trade on. So I was going to ask him how many pips does he typically go for, and you see where it's hit the edge of the river, that red candle at the top. You know, typically, what is he looking for? You know, in terms of stop loss. But obviously, he can't hear me unless he can lip read.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but it breaks. It breaks.
Breaks up.
Yeah, and no one else could hear you either, Tony.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, we could hear him, but he can't hear us.
Sorry. Yeah, we could hear you. You can't hear any of us. We were all
right.
shouting
Sorry.
at you.
Well, that was good in a
Yeah.
way.
Hey, Tony, can you explain the trade, what you just did, so we can get an idea? It didn't come up on the screen.
Oh, didn't it? Oh, sorry. I thought it did.
No,
Right.
no, all we
Okay.
saw was a chart.
Yeah, the trade's there. Can you see my cursor? Can you see my screen now?
Oh, yeah, there. Okay.
Right. You get all the trade ideas down here on the left-hand side. Okay. Can you see my cursor?
Yeah.
Right. All the trades come up and it gives you a red or a green stick or label or little bar here. Okay. On this far left. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, right. That is a sell, which I got into and I actually got it. It came in quite quickly. What happens is when the machines or whatever it is, the servers, the computers they've got in the US come up with a decent trade, then they kick it out to Vibrata, which is linked to it. And what you do is you get all these trade ideas coming up. And then what you do is just click on the pair, which is GU, just double click it or click it, and then it will come over to the main screen. Now I've got them all on 5. Okay, you can click on what time frame you like, but what I would say to you is with the 15 upwards, you need a stop loss. I do not use a stop loss because I am confident I know it's going to come back. When you go to 15, you're going to definitely need some sort of stop loss. That's down to you. That's personal. How much you want to risk. It's all down to risk management, which you should have done in, what is it now, in the sections 100 and 200 of the IMA. But that's purely personal. As I say, I do not use a stop loss on 5. I'm here, I'm watching it. And I use a very small lot size. And then I just quickly look over here to see which direction it's going in. And as I could see, it's below the cloud, so it's strong. It's well, the red line is below the green line, or is that a blue line? You can probably see there. And I knew it was going to be a winner, and it did. It came in straight away. So I was happy with that.
So I presume, Tony, that you don't use a stop loss on the 5 minute because it's either going to be a small retrace, so it will come back, or it's momentum anyway.
Sorry, Sarah, you've cut off again.
Oh.
But what
No, we can't. Oh, I did say to him yesterday evening that I didn't think we could do more of these joint ones until he sorted out. But he thought he'd sorted it.
Sounds like you got a loose wire.
Yeah,
no, I haven't. I haven't because I was on
thought.
Paul's. It was fine with Paul, fine with David this morning, and I did a personal one-to-one with somebody who's in my group, and that was fine. So I have a feeling what it is because the traffic is now so much in this area and so much everywhere because people are stuck at home, and they're getting up now at 7:30, whatever it is, and going straight onto their Sky and TV and Virgin and all that sort of stuff. I've noticed a massive difference in the speeds and things like that, and getting on Zoom and Discord, and it has. I mean, I've got ultra fast, and I'm still having problems. So it's just down to traffic, and when you get on as well, if you get on last. With a Zoom call, you can get a little bit of disturbance when you're on first. You're first in the queue, so you get a better quality Zoom link.
Tony, we've got a message in the chat. Could you please explain what indicators you use?
The indicator is just one big indicator, which is the Hukamuku cloud, which is here. I've altered it. Let's see how we do this.
And also a message, can you let us have your settings? And could you just run through it again one more time, the methodology?
Right. What I'll do then is you go into Bravata Web Analyzer. It's the old version, which I will put in the link in a minute when you start doing your bit. You click on down the bottom here, Strategies, down here, where the cursor is Strategies. Then you click on this one, and that lets you know all the strategies that are you've got to choose. Now, I know the majority of the Ninja group, or 99.9 of them, use BYOB. I use Dr. Kathy Kirkland because I've been using that. I've been using it now for 2 years, and I'm comfortable with it. I still use the BYOB, but it's a different animal. It's a different platform altogether, okay? Then once you've got that, you can go down here and you get the ching ching sound. You will not get the ching ching sound on the new platform. It's not ready yet. I've asked for it. Paul Turner's asked for it, and they're still in the process of sorting it out, but it's not on the new platform. You press on, okay? And then you set the settings here. You set that. So when a new trade idea comes up, like there is on this one, I'll come out of those because I don't look at those at all. You get a choice of which time frame. I know the Ninja Group use predominantly the 15-minute time frame. I don't. I use the 5. Okay, and then again, another trade idea is coming in. That's supposed to be a buy. So what you do is you double click on that and that will come up. As you see, it only takes a couple of seconds to show what's happening. Okay. See, now it's gone away. What happened there? I'll do that one then. G-A. E-A. Unless quite a lot came through then. Yeah, sometimes that does happen where you get 5 or 6 coming in at the same time. Yeah, it's down there. So that's 1 minute. That was a buy. Now what's happening there is I can see, because the experience I've had is that's supposed to be a buy. And that's above the cloud, as it's stated. 5 minutes is above the cloud. There is a little bit of drawdown at the moment, but that will come round and go up. You can see the river is pointing upwards here. And if you're unsure about it, what you can do is go to the 1 hour and just check. Yes, that is a good sign to me that it's still going up. The red's above the blue, above the river. That is definite. So that's an in. And that's basically it. Let's see what we can do.
So
here.
you just
What I'll do is I'll do a
park
screenshot
it,
of
tip off
this and I'll put it into the group
I think Connor's
later on for you to have a look at. And these are the colours I use. I try and keep it simple.
Oh, no, it's gone
And
again.
try and keep it straightforward.
Yeah, I had a feeling that might have been the case.
Because if you have too much on there, too many indicators, you just get confused and you think, well, what am I looking at? What do I look at? And when do I look at it? It's just too confusing.
We can't
So,
hear you
yeah,
again.
that's all you do is you wait for another trade, which will come up like there's so many coming up there. Let's have a look at the GA. That's a buy as well.
View options. Let me send him a message. I don't know if he'll look at it though while he's.
Right. Let's bring this over.
I can't do that while I'm recording.
Yeah. Let's just check the hour on that one. That again is a buy. So GA. I would probably get into that one as well. Yes, there's a bit of drawdown, or there was, but it's now coming back on itself. The red's above the blue and above the river. So predominantly that will be going up. What you've got to bear in mind is that the 1 minute is part of the 5 minute. The 5 minutes part of 15. They're all interlinked like a clock. I was told this by Brian Knight many years ago. You know the old Chinese dolls? And when you take the big one off and it gets smaller and smaller, we'll do that in reverse, and that's how the clock works. 1 minute's in 5, 5's in 15, 15's in an hour. So you can, to a certain extent, predict what's going to happen. If you look at that, you know, because there's 5 minutes in that one there and 15 minutes in that one there. So it's fairly accurate in letting you know what's happening. Yeah, that's that. So as I say, I work off 5 minutes. It's normally quite quick. You get into it. Sometimes it does take a little bit longer to come through, but it's all down to patience, isn't it? And confidence within the, you know, within that platform. But yes, I will make a copy of that and I will let you, I'll put it into Discord, the old setting here, which I can just copy that. Well, actually, yeah, I'll do that when Sarah starts talking. Any other questions? Does someone want me to do it again, or?
We have got questions, but you can't hear us.
Sarah, you're on mute again.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Quiet. For me, you are anyway.
I'm not on mute.
You're not on mute, Sarah.
No, no, I have actually got mine on.
That's good. That came through.
Tony, we can't hear you. Okay, you can't hear us. Tony, you can't hear us again.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, no.
I'll check if there's any.
Yeah, he's looking in the chat.
Oh, what's happening now?
Nice picture of Rome.
Oh, I thought I'd cut you off then.
Oh no, not again. Don't do that again.
This new system with Zoom is.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you can't hear any of us, Tony.
Can you hear me?
Well, I can hear everyone, but it's Tony's end.
I'll stop sharing, Sarah, and I'll put it back to you. Okay.
Yeah. Okay then. So
I can hear you now.
okay.
And while you're talking, I'll put these bits in Discord. Okay.
Okay. People did have some questions for you, but I suggest they put them in the Ninja Forex Traders chat then, or the live sessions chat in Discord.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
it's cutting in and out, Tony. So
I know it's not fair on them. I know that. Yeah.
So thank you for that. That's, you know, a lot of people very interested in obviously working on the shorter time frame, particularly in a volatile market where, you know, obviously you've had a lot of experience over several years in perfecting this strategy. So hopefully when the markets return a bit more to normal and people are going out and about and back to work a bit more, we can do some more joint sessions when the internet's speeded up in Tewkesbury a bit more.
I'll do a leaflet and say everybody go back to work, shall I, and put it through the letterboxes.
Yeah,
You're disturbing my time.
We've got things to get on with. Okay, Tony, thanks.
I'll do stop share then, okay?
Yeah.
And I'll hand it back to you, and then there you go.
Right. Okay. So how do I take you off co-host? Let me see if I can do that. So.
You know what they should
Hey,
do?
Sarah,
that's it. Yeah.
Sarah, just before you move on, I just did those 2 trades Tony showed us.
Yeah.
And picked up 20 pips.
Yay!
There you go. Wow.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Well
thanks,
done,
Tony.
Tony. That's great.
Put them in Discord so Paul can see it.
Nice.
Yeah, I will.
That's what we want. Quick in and out.
Yeah,
yes.
Scalping works. We know that. That's why.
Put it in raining pips, John.
Put it in
raining pips.
Raining pips. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do. I'll do it after the session. I've had a fairly good day today with the different live trading sessions.
Good.
That's brilliant. Well done.
Right. Well, we'll go on and have a look at the scanner then, Tony. Thank you very much for that.
No problem. I'm just gonna
share screen. So on the scanner, which is the main strategy that I use, Traders Way is the main feed. You can use any of the brokers though. It doesn't matter. You've got FX Choice, JFX, Hugo's Way. They're all much of a muchness. There may be a difference of a couple of pips in the spread on them, but Traders Way is the main feed for the Harmonic Scanner. So I usually look at these and I look on the hourly. Now, the reason I wanted to come over today is simply to show you the volatility of the market. You can see this one, Euro JPY, the D point redrawing. It's past stop loss, so that is a failed scan. I would not bother to draw that or take any notice of it. That's Euro JPY. USD CAD. This one at the moment looks okay, but because I've been getting a bit nervous about some of these scans, I've been obviously waiting for them to drop 20 pips. You can do 15% like Paul does. So I'll be waiting for it to come down here before I consider drawing it around about that point there to show it's solidified and not going to redraw. And if you do draw them or are thinking of taking a trade, then check the scanner to see if the D point has redrawn or what's happened on here before you do anything with it, because the last 2 25 to live trades that I've called on here hit stop loss, which you know, has not been happening to me before, and that's on the hourly. So I'm not so confident at the moment on the 25 to life. If you do take them, then what I would do is not necessarily put that take profit green line in and take that as red. Monitor it yourself on the way down, grab some pips and get out when you see it retracing or you know, reversing on you. Yeah. And then the latest one there, see there's another one where it's hitting stop loss, it's dropping off the end. We have got I just saw FX Street News come in on the right there, that retail sales in the States, there was news just come out at 1:30 UK time, and obviously retail sales in the States are down, and market's very twitchy, as we know. And then there's Canadian news at 3:30, so we'll go a bit further down. This one, this is Euro Ord, so that's gone off up to stop loss as well. This may be why Vibrata's down, because it can't keep up on the algorithm at the moment. It's looking at past, usually it's highly accurate, it can't keep up with past history, because it's reading the history in order to look at what's going to happen. And you can see here, you know, the volatility. And last one I'll go through, Euro NZD, New Zealand dollar, usually a very nice pair to trade. I do like Euro NZD a lot. That doesn't look too bad actually, that one. I may have drawn this, I can't remember if I drew this one. So that is 396 pips, so that's a good scan, but it hasn't yet come off the D point here. So looking for it, sorry, to come down about 20 pips to about that point there. Now you can take, oh, this is a shark, so don't take these trades. Sharks bite, we always say, until it's hit entry point 2. I don't get in until entry point 2 or take profit 1,
No.
because the D point often on sharks will redraw. So you know, the point moves. So you've got to be careful with sharks. Otherwise, normally you can take the trade if you want to down here, but we have strategies which will reduce your stop loss, so you don't have so much stop loss. And that's normally why I like the 25 to life. So 83508. But you will find in this market, see, that's a big stop loss for about 70 pips, which would be too rich for my taste. So normally the 25 to life, we can take the stop loss at that D point, you see, but it's in this volatile market, you will either need bigger stop losses or to be more aggressive and be prepared to re-enter your trades because of all the wicks that we're seeing. So let's go through a few pairs. I have marked some up before we came on. Let's start at the left, GBP USD, bearing in mind we've just had USD news. That's just loading. And here I had some alerts just go off. Let me make a note of those. USD, CHF, Euro USD, and that was, and Euro JPY. So this is GBP USD. The vertical line is just where price crosses the quarter theory. It's just a glitch on trading view. I did put a fib on this, but I didn't, you know, it was quite, there was a lot, look, there's just no volume in the market at all the way through. That's Tokyo session in green. London, you'll find pre-opening of London into London open is your biggest volume session. Typically GBP pairs will move at least 50 pips. You can see here, that's 50 pips increment between the quarter theory lines. Please ask me if you want to look at any pairs or charts or want to ask about any indicators, any questions, you know, welcome. So it's dropped down here and then it's come on down to hit. Normally I'll take these lines off the Fibonacci. That will be my, yeah, this is how you can use the Fibonacci. Just get the brush. So 0 will be my take profit 1, minus 27 take profit 2, and the minus 618 will be my take profit 3. And in this instance, you can see it has indeed come down to take profit 3. And that was from me putting a fib on from that high point there down to this point. That was where I happened to be measuring it this morning, marking some charts up for us. So it rejected off quarter theory twice, stalled along there, rejected off, and then decided it was finally going to drop again. So you actually had two trade moves here. You had one down to the 0 line here, and then it came above the 1 minute moving average. You'll see that on BYOB and again on Tony's strategy. We all use moving averages along the middle of the river. So this is similar. I'm just using a measurement of 62 previous candles across any time frame. So that would have been the point at which to get out of the trade. If you hadn't got out here, you would have got out as it crossed above because you would have, you know, got good pips by then, and then kept out of it. But as soon as it drops down below, I would have waited. That's my personal trading style till it got below quarter theory as well. So I might have been in a bit of drawdown there as it stalled along, or I might have stayed out until I saw it actually drop, and then got in somewhere around about this point, and that's another 50 pips. And now it's reversing off pitchfork. I use pitchforks. All that pitchforks are trend lines at an angle, because I just like to click buttons on and off. I don't want to be drawing lines of support and resistance. It's just a personal preference. So that's GBP USD at the moment. And it should be now then trying to probably coming back up to test that. I don't know whether it's going to carry on in its downward momentum. I'd want to wait for it now to get above quarter theory and possibly above that 62 line. Let's look on the 15-minute. And again, you can just redraw your fibs. Fibs are always moving from high to low. These are just my settings. People have their own preferences on fibs, their own settings they like. The way I've been taught, I use the 88.6 is my favorite, and the 61.8. So if you're looking for a sell, you draw your fib from high to low. If you're looking for a buy, you draw it from low to high, and then look for the reversal on it. So this at the moment is in an upward scan. That's the last one that I had, and it, you know, I don't know what it's going to do at the moment, whether it's going to carry on dropping down to touch that. This is the 1 minute, this blue line is the 1 minute moving average, as it would be shown on a 15-minute chart. So it just saves me switching back to the 15-minute chart. It's not useful on any other time frame. I'm just using it on the 1 minute to see, because this orange line is the current momentum. So as soon as it crosses the blue line, it's still in strong downward momentum, then that's one of my confirmations there. So, oops, just take off those marks now, because that move's gone. And that's how I mark up charts. And I just set alerts and wait for the alerts to go off, and then come back and look at what's happening. And then quarter theory is just support and resistance. And again, it's just at the click of a button, it saves me drawing support and resistance lines. Just get rid of that. And let me come down to show you on the 1 minute, the current trend. It's a bit like what Tony said, you've got moves within moves. So like he said Chinese dolls, I'm sure they have them in China. I call them Russian dolls. I remember having one as a kid. So you can, so what will happen on the 1 minute is repeated like ripples in a pond across the longer time frames. So I'll go out and do my chart setups on the 15-minute, but for me, I stay down the rabbit hole. I'm always going into my trades on the 1 minute. So you can see here it's rejected off this pitchfork. It's sandwiched between that and the quarter theory. So eventually it's got to make its mind up and decide whether it's reversing back out or it can't come up through that ceiling, that line of resistance, and whether it's going to drop further. So I'll be looking for it to do this.
Sarah?
Yeah?
Oh, a question. When you've got 5 minutes, whatever,
Yeah.
you know, you said you compound your trades. Could you
Yeah.
quickly show me how and whereabouts you would start to compound that?
You mean stacking in?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do it on this one. Let me just get rid of sorry, it's a bit slow because I'm on Zoom. Okay, so if we take this trade back to Open of London, then let me just move it over. It seems slow today. Okay, so looking at stacking in for risk-free pips on a smaller time frame, this is why this is a hybrid strategy, because it's using 1 hour chart analysis, but it's entering on the 1 minute time frame. But it's not it doesn't limit you to 3 to 5 pips, which normally is what we're taught, that if you're on the 5 minute time frame, you go for 3 to 5 pips. 15 minute is it 5 to 10, and then hourly you'd get 30 to 50, something like that. So here, perfect entry for me. Here it's dropped down. I've got like all of us have, I've got a confirmation checklist here, which I'm holding up. So every trade I take, I just tick the boxes and I keep them in a folder. So each week I've got my percentage, win, loss, break even, what trade I took, and then sometimes I make little notes about what worked or what I could have improved. So on this trade here, I always keep the same ratio. Again, it's just what I've been taught. And if you've got a strategy that works for you, why change it? You only need one. So hopping around from strategy to strategy is, we all do it at the beginning because you need to find your trading style. I like to stay in the day. Some people like to work Monday to Friday, bigger pips, longer positions. It just suits whatever suits your mentality. So here I would have gotten this trade stalled out here as it dropped below quarter theory. That's one of my confirmations. It's dropped below, the orange has crossed the blue. That's check number 2. Now I don't have down here, here's the pitchfork break and retest back here, which is quite a while ago. So then it stalled out all the way from late New York. The black is closed, the green is Tokyo. But I did have the break and retest back there. So those are my confirmations. So on this trade, I would have got in as it broke, and there's the retest off that little orange line there. So I would have got in here on my first entry. Now, as it's a GBP pair, that's 15 pips. As we know, we need more pips in this market anyway on stop losses. And like GA, you'll often need 20 pips, which again is getting a bit rich for me. I don't really like big pip stop losses. So I always go for 10, or in this case 15 pips to 20 pip gain. That's my first entry. Just put the settings, say 595. And I always use the slider because visually, every single trade, I can't work without the slider. And I always do the same thing, move my lines across. So here, if I put this, try and make this bigger for you. Right, so here, say I've got in there where it's just broken and retested the 62. I get my horizontal line, and that's going to be my stop profit, 1.5 pips, about 1.5 pips to cover me on the broker after it has reached about 10 pips. And obviously it's quite difficult. I find it quite a difficult market at the moment. So sometimes I'm closing out on take profit 1 at 10 pips because of the volatility in the market and not waiting for 20 pips. But let's say for the purposes of this, I can see the strong momentum down. I also use my Hull indicator mostly for back testing, but I do switch it on briefly to see what the 15-minute trend is doing. And these are the bands in the background, just double check. I mean, I know it'll be red because I can see that strong momentum down. So here it is on the 15-minute, the red band is the 15-minute in the back. So you can see all the way across here, it's staying red. And then 2 flips of the Hull and I'm out of the trade if it's a longer flip. So you can, it's a 30% lag because all indicators lag. You can see those 2 flips green, and sure enough, that's warning me that it is going to reverse on me. And then here we are, it's come back down into the red. So that's telling me there might be another trade there at the moment, that the momentum is still strong going down. Although, as we've heard, we've just had that USD news that they're retail is obviously badly affected. So I might have a quick look at that. And then once I'm in the trade, so let's say it's gone the 10 pips. So now I've put my stop profit in up here. So I'm feeling quite comfortable that I might walk away with no money, but at least I'm not going to be hit by a 10 pip stop loss. And I only use 2% risk, but no one likes being hit by a stop loss. So once I've done that, then I'm watching it, I'm seeing it staying below the 62, nicely below, nice gap. I know price will always move between levels, although, you know, it's a bit of a difficult market at the moment. So I can see it's strong momentum down. Now, equally, when you've got strong momentum down like that, it can equally reverse on you very badly. And whenever you get into a trade, you've got to decide what is your plan for exit. So my plan for exit, if it isn't that strong on the momentum, number one, I might just go for the 10 pips. Number two, I might move my stop profit down, because 10 pip stop loss is 2%. So if I move it to 5 pips, I know I've made 1%. If I move it to 10 pips, I've made 2%. So I'm at 1 to 1. And then once I've got the 20 pips, I've got my 4%. So that's what's always in my mind, working to those ratios. So I'll either do that or strong momentum down. And I think, okay, this is a stack in trade now. I've moved my stop profit now maybe to 10 pips, because I'm covering myself running behind the 62, giving it room to breathe, or behind the previous high. So that's where I got stopped out yesterday, because you know, it was a bit too tight, and then it dropped another 50 pips. So I was not very happy at all, but you know, hell, these things happen. So now I'm thinking, right, this is a stack in. So go to my little slider bar here, take another short position, short for a sell. And the same thing again. But what I'm going to do this time is I can cover, if I line them up, so take another 20 pips. So this other one is still running risk-free on my left. This is still running down. And then I can put this one where my stop loss is covering me there. So this is how you stack in. And in fact, after this point here, after that break and retest up here, sorry, retrace, you've got a third trade, because once it's dropped through those two levels, you can see it's still coming down. So let me put a third one in here. But I wouldn't want to get in this one until it's broken through there. So just down there. So now I've got the ability, as it's running down, I'm running my stop loss, stop profit down and down, lovely trade, down and down here, keeping above the 62. I can still see here. Now I might start thinking about getting out here. So this one now is up at, you've got 60 pips before it reverses on you round. As soon, you know, if you don't get out here quickly, which is down at that level there. So here you've made 40 pips. If you do manage to get it down to there, here you've got 70 pips, and this is now all risk-free. And here you've got 90 pips. So you've got 90, 160, nearly 200 pips by doing that. Now, what you have to be careful of is how many pips are you prepared to give up, because once you've got to this point, you can see you're going to be losing pips, and then it's going to come back above the 62. And when you're actually in a trade, you're thinking, well, how many pips have I got? How far is it going to go back up? I know I've got the pitchfork there. How much am I prepared to give up? Like it's gone above the 62 before, you know, it drops down, stalls along, and it's dropped again. So that's always the decision that you have to make. But let's say that you didn't get out there. You thought it was still going to run down, so you came back up to here. Well, you've still made on that one, so that stopped you out now up there, 63. Say call it 63 plus 45, so 65 and 45. I can't do that. 65 and 45, that's 110. And then this one you've stopped out here, but it's all risk-free. That's another 15. So that's 125 pips. And you could have done more depending on, you know, how you judge this retrace and what your appetite is for thinking, because you all the time you've got the market forming channels and changing direction. I can just get a slider here. So here it's coming back up on you. I'm not going to draw too many because the zoom's making it slow. That's a trend line. No, taking the wrong one. Got an old pitchfork coming through, so pick that up instead. I always draw my lines in the same colours so my brain doesn't get confused. And I'd possibly take a trade off a wrong line. So from that quarter point, it's come back up and then broken through the 62. So at this point, I'd be getting very nervous myself. And I'd be thinking, well, actually, do you know what? I've made 63 pips there, 44 there, and, you know, 15 there. To be honest, I'm out the trade. I would not have had the appetite for that. But if it's stalled along, it's still in a strong momentum. There's nothing to stop you taking another trade down here. So that's basically how I do it when you stack in. And I've moved to C Trader. I haven't used it yet, but there are advanced positions where you can put in different take profits and things. But when you're doing this strategy, I wouldn't normally be taking a profit. I'm purely using my slider, and then I'll go on to C Trader, and you can slide your stop loss on C Trader as well. I'll use the slider on the open position. So basically that's how you stack in, using the 1 minute entry with a risk-free trade and then only 15 pips on the stop loss. Does that answer the question? Any other thoughts or?
Yeah, that sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else anyone wants me to explain? Let me know. Okay, and now you can see it's rejecting off this pitchfork here. It's sandwiched between that and the quarter theory, so it's got to make its mind up if it's dropping yet again or whether that's the end of its move. Okay, so that is GBP USD, and I can't see the time. I don't want to run across Sharon's session. I know we had Tony on. What time are we? Oh, 2:59. So I'm going to finish there today, I think, because I don't want to. I cut across Sharon yesterday. Someone wanted to stay on and run through something specific, but it's not good practice really to cut across other people's sessions. So I hope that's been helpful, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And let me know. You know, always happy to chat in Discord or come on the live sessions or ask questions beforehand if there's anything that you want me to cover. And I'll just look at the chat.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yep, you're very welcome. Yeah, I haven't checked in to see what those chart markups did that I posted in the group today. But thanks for joining, and enjoy Sharon's session. And I think Sarah Jane will be on, and then Les, very good on the banker's strategy, who will be on at 7 UK tonight. Very good indeed. So thanks very much, everyone. See you all soon. Bye for now.